Welcome to Painting 102. Today we will be painting an acrylic pet portrait of 3 young chickens. We will be going for a little abstract impressionist vibe with this painting. We will start the lesson by preparing our canvas for an acrylic painting, and then we will move on to the painting, going step by step through the whole process, finishing with your own little chicken pet portrait. For today's lesson, you will need a palette or a paper plate for your paint, a canvas, whatever size or shape you choose, some brushes. I have a slightly larger brush for a size 1 for priming the canvas, then a 3/4 inch wash brush, a size 1 round brush, a filbert brush, and a fine brush for some finer details. You will need a jar with some water to rinse your brushes, and of course, some paint. I'll have the exact colors you need listed below in the description of the course. Let's move on to priming our canvas. Priming your canvas. Why do we need to prime a canvas? Don't they come already ready to paint? Yes and no. Most canvases that you will buy already come with gesso and they're smoothed out a little bit, or they've got some teeth to them, a little rough texture, and they are ready to go. You can paint straight on a white canvas. Many artists do and have beautiful paintings. In my practice, I have found that priming the canvas with some sort of an underpainting in any sort of color provides a depth and richness to your painting. For most of my paintings, I prime the canvas with a pink or an orange, and today I'll be doing a pink and with a little bit of yellow in it to give it an orange hue. So I'll be starting with some brilliant red, some cadmium yellow medium hue, a lot of water, and a larger brush to cover this whole canvas. Now this is not the canvas I will be using for the painting, but it's a good example of what you'll need for this painting. Now if you want to skip this step, you are welcome to do so, but I'm going to show you how to prepare and prime a canvas for an acrylic painting. To prime our canvas, we will need some paint. You can do just a pink with some red or some white, but I'm going for an orange today, rather red-orange, so I'm using some cadmium yellow medium hue as well with my warm red. Do make sure that if you are using red and yellow that they are both warm or both cool. If you do a warm and a cool color together, you will get kind of a muddy background color, and that's not what you want. I'm also going to be sure I have lots of water. I don't want this underpainting to be super thick. I like mine to be kind of thin. And you need a palette for mixing your paint. Oh, and a decent sized brush. I want to be sure that I have enough paint to cover the canvas, but I also don't want a ton left over because I'm not going to be using this orange in the painting itself. But if I do have some left over, usually what I'll do is I'll grab another canvas that hasn't been primed and use it up on that. Get my brush wet and just mix it up. Now it can be streaky if you want, but I try to avoid streakiness in the underpainting. And then you just paint it on. Now when we go to paint the painting, as you'll see, I'm not actually painting it on this canvas. I'm using this canvas as an example of how to prime the canvas for painting. I did have a thicker underpainting on the canvas that I use in this course for the painting because I was painting over an old painting that I had done, I think in high school, and I just really wasn't loving it anymore. So it was time to move on and paint something new, which was a little hard. It's always hard to paint over paintings, but sometimes it's necessary. Now you don't have to be careful around the edges like I am. I just don't want paint on this tablecloth. There's a little hunk of paint in there. You just paint the whole canvas. It doesn't have to be pretty, but since we are priming this canvas and preparing it for a painting, I do want to be sure that all of the white is covered at least a little bit. There. It's gonna help so I don't get it on my tablecloth. You really don't have to do the edges so much on a canvas board. On a gallery wrapped canvas like this, which I'll talk about later, you don't have to prime the edges if you don't want to, but some artists choose to. I did not in this case. I'll leave that up to you. Being a little stingy here because I'm afraid I'm going to run out of paint, which means I should have used just a little bit more than I thought I needed. Yep, I'm running out of paint, but you get the idea. Alright, now I do go over this once it's done, just to kind of make sure there's not too much texture, like too many thick spots, because I'm not going for that in this painting. If you're going for a textured look, then by all means, you don't need to smooth it out. There we go, we have our primed canvas. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, which won't take long because it's acrylic paint, and then we will move on to beginning our painting. We will sketch out the painting first, and then paint the painting. Today we are going to be painting a little pet portrait of these chickens right here. These are my chickens back in the day, but now they are a lot bigger. So to start, I've already prepared my canvas with just a background. I chose a warm red, a little bit yellow. You can kind of see that I am reusing a canvas, but you won't be able to see the original painting once we're done. I've got my brushes and water here, and I have my palette. Today we will be using white, Payne's Gray, Brilliant Red, or a warm red of your choice, Yellow Ochre, Cadmium Yellow Hue, and Phthalo Blue. Now you're welcome to use other colors if you so desire, but these are what I'll be using today. So to start, I'm going to get a round brush, and I'm going to use my Phthalo Blue, and I'm just going to draw the shapes of at least 3 of these chickens, if not all of them. So I'm going to start, I want her in the middle, so I'm going to just do her little beak. Now you don't want to do all the details, we're just getting a rough outline to start. You honestly might even just paint her. Down to her little legs. And when I do pet portraits, I really like to leave the background pretty low detail, so I do think we'll just stick with 1 or 2 of these little pullets. That's what little baby chickens are called. And, well, let's just start with her and we'll see where the painting goes. So we've got background. Actually, we'll add this little one back here. Don't actually have this chicken anymore. She went to go live with a friend of a friend. Now, I drew her beak too high, so I'm actually just going to leave it out. And don't worry, we will paint over these outlines, so we won't really be able to see that. And let's add this one back here, actually. Again, I went a little too far, but it's alright. There. Got their background, so the first step after you've prepared your canvas is to do a rough paint in of the outline. And you don't want to go too detailed because this is not a paint by number. You're welcome to do that if you want, but in this lesson, that is not what we are doing. I'm going to get a slightly bigger brush. I'm going to take my phthalo blue and my white, and even though in the background of this we've got grass and compost pile and a neighbor's outbuilding, I'm just going to make it the sky. It's less busy and it's more fun. Now this is kind of an abstract feel, so I don't need, problem with a round canvas, it's going to roll. But I don't need to have this looked exact or super smooth. I kind of like the rough impressionist look. Now because I'm using a round canvas, I am going to hold this so it doesn't roll. Probably should have attached it to the easel somehow. Now while doing this, I'm also going to pick the horizon line, and I want it to be about here. It's the rule of thirds. I've got kind of a third of it being the sky in the background. Because if you do it too close, it's going to look like your chicks are just sitting on a cliff. And unless your chicks are actually sitting on a cliff, which I don't recommend, you want it to look like there's some ground behind them. I'm also going to try and make it a little bit lighter here, maybe on my second go through down by the ground, because if you look at the sky, it gets lighter the closer to the ground it gets. Now, I'm using a big brush so we can be really loose and broad and just very painterly. And I don't mind these little streaks right here. I think it adds to the impressionist look. But I do like to cover up all of that red. Not everyone does, and that's fine. So if you want to leave those little pops of red, go right ahead. I am going to try very hard not to do that. Oops. Get a little more white. Let's see. Just add some texture to this here. There's our sky. Now, I'm going to do the grass as well. Now you can start a painting by doing the subject first, which in this case are these little chicks. I really don't always do that. I actually just do whatever I feel like doing for each individual painting. Sometimes I paint the background, sometimes I paint the subject, but today we're doing the background first because it is a little bit easier to do the background first and then the main subject if your background is just going to be plain like this. So to do the grass, I'm going to do some cadmium yellow hue and the phthalo blue to get a green color. Because, at least in this picture and in my yard, in the summer, grass is green. While filming this right now, my grass is a little yellow and brown, but that's because right now we're coming out of winter and I am ready. Now this will probably require another coat so it doesn't look muddy. Now in the picture here you can see their feet, and I might paint it in so I can see their feet. But right now, I'm gonna actually just go over it, and it can be just some extra grass there. As you can see, I added a little bit more yellow here so the green's a little brighter. It was kind of on accident. I am gonna go in a little deeper here because at this point they were still chickens with little scrawny legs and didn't have a ton of feathers. So I'm going to go back in, just go for that textured look. later too, once we're done with the chickens, we will go back in and do maybe some individual pieces of grass just around their feet. But not right this second. Right now we're just laying in the background and the foreground. That's what this is right here. We're getting it all, just all the basic stuff in. Again, I like to cover the red. There are many artists who love to leave the little pops of background color in. If that is you, go right ahead. That is not me. Alright, I've got it about as covered as I want for now. Like I said, we're going to go back in later. Now we're going to go in and just lay like a foundational color for these chicks. Now these ones right here, I know we're not painting her, but they're barred rock chickens, which are black and white. But if you look at them closer, and especially in this picture, you can see it's not just black and white and gray. There's a little bit of a blue to it, which is why we have Payne's Gray. I love Payne's Gray. I don't know how I painted without it for so long. But I'm just gonna go in, do a base layer of Payne's Gray for this one back here. Her name's Geraldine, if you're curious about the names of my chickens. And I am going to leave it like where her beak is. I'm not going to go in and do Payne's Gray there, but I'm just going to do a little layer. And also too, I'm going to do a little layer down here. This one is Henrietta, just to get some of the shadow in there for her. Because there are some shadows, and it's a little easier with yellows to do the shadows underneath and then just build up on it. Now we're going to go back over here. This was Mabel or Gladys, I can't remember. Because she doesn't live here anymore. Gave her to someone else. But she's going to get a base coat with yellow ochre. Now she is a little more, she's got some browns shades in there, but again, we're just doing like a base layer. And my brush is a little wet, so I'm going to squeeze that out. Now for Henrietta here, I am going to take some white and yellow ochre, maybe a little bit of the cadmium yellow, just a smidge, and paint her in. Because this is pretty close to the color that she actually is, but we're going to go all over. Again, still keeping it kind of loose to get that impressionist feel. And see, as you can see, I'm getting the shadows worked in there, which is excellent. That's what I want. Wipe it off a little bit to get the shadows so they won't be here in the lighter parts. As you can see, when I'm painting over the lines, it's not mixing with the paint. That is because acrylic is a quick drying paint, especially in the summer when it's hot and in the winter when it is dry. I don't know about you, but where I live, it gets very dry in the winter. So basically, acrylic just dries quickly all year round. There. Alright, we've got our base layers in. Before I let you go and do all the highlights on this little one back here, I'm going to review how to make brown. Now, brown is usually just made by mixing two complementary colors together, but we're going to work with what we have here. So I'm just taking a little bit of yellow ochre, a touch of red, and then some Payne's Gray, which works because there's blue in Payne's Gray and yellow and blue, or red and blue. when you try and make purple in reality, it doesn't work as well. So there we go. We've got a kind of a brown to work with just to get in her feathers. You can see I used this filbert brush with the rounded tip to really work in my favor to make the little bars on her. I kept it, again, kind of loose to go with that impressionist vibe. And I added the highlights, and I used more black for the shadows, then just some Payne's gray, and then Payne's gray and white to get this nice little gray. You can see there's still some tinier details we need to add, but we'll do another pass on it. Now we're going to move on to little Mabel back here, and I might actually get out the brown tube of paint just to work with this. So we've done our first pass here. I went in here, used some Payne's gray to do that shadow under her little beak and her head, and I did a little bit along the edge of Henrietta here on Mabel Gladys, I forget her name because she doesn't live with us anymore, just to show that she's behind Henrietta here. Now we're going to go in and add in more to Henrietta, using mostly yellow ochre, white, and then Payne's gray for the shadows. If you feel that other colors are needed, I do see there's some more yellow spots in here where I might add in that cadmium yellow hue. Again, still keeping it kind of loose and painterly. This is an impressionist sort of painting of these little chickens. I do need to move so I can see her tail. So her little head here is very light, both because she doesn't have a lot of feathers there, still a lot of fluff, and because there's a nice bright highlight right there. There's a highlight over her eye as well. I'm actually going to use some straight brown and white, just a little bit for the top of her head here. Just a little bit, it's not quite so yellow there. And then just a little bit under her little chin. Just looking for the spots where it's not quite as yellow and could use a little bit of this color mixture. I'm gonna do just a touch of red, yellow ochre, and white here. This looks, she's got some red in her. Not a lot, but just enough that we need to add it in there to really make it look like her. Some down here on her legs. I'm going to take this mixture that I just did, add a little Payne's gray to it to get a better, of a better shadow than I had going on. There, it's not as green when you add a little red to it. Just paint it over that highlight, but don't worry, we'll go back in and fix it. There. She's such a pale chicken that I don't want to go too harsh with the shadows or make them too green. But also, you've got to have the shadows, otherwise she's just going to be very flat. Just a little bit there, and again, I'm not using enough paint. I'm going in with the white for those highlights. This one that I got. Little fluffy feathers down here. I'm just kind of flicking the brush for some of these fluffier spots. I'm going to take some of the cadmium yellow hue, some white, and some yellow ochre for more on her face here. She's still very yellow. Add little peekaboo yellow colors here. Look for the shapes in your reference image. That will be your guide on where to add the shadows and how to make this look like a round chicken and not a flat one. So when you don't add the shadows, you can get a great, drawing or painting, but it's going to look flat. You'll know what it is, but it won't be as fleshed out as it could be. Alright. I don't want to go too much because then we're going to lose the impressionist feel that we've got going on. So now I'm going to start going in with my round brush to add some more of the details. Something that will help these chickens start to take shape is to add their eyes. They're living things with little eyes, So I'm going to mix a little Payne's gray, a little brown, and some black. Now it's going to just look black, but when you add colors to your black, it gives it just a richness that you don't always get with straight black. I probably will need an even smaller brush to get more details, but we're just going to start by adding this where the eyes are to kind of center ourselves on their little heads. And just like that, it's starting to come together a little bit more, isn't it? They still look a little like dinosaurs, but at least they've got some faces. Do their beaks. Their beaks are a little pink, so we're going to do some red, some white, then let's try it with the cadmium yellow. If that doesn't work, then we'll go for the yellow ochre. Add some more white to it, and I think it's all right. We'll try it, and the beauty of a painting is that you can always paint over it. So yes, we're going to go in the beak. Now we do want to keep it, impressionist style, but we can add these details. It's okay. Sometimes the details, even in rather loose paintings, are what ties it together. I just did her comb. I've got to do their little combs, which are hiding, but there. Now we're going to add, these two have more of a pink beak, so we're going to add a little more red to that mixture that we were just doing, and some white to get more of a pink going on. I do think I even need to go a little bit more pink, but let's start here. I was afraid of going too dark. I didn't listen to my gut. Sometimes just your instincts, even with painting, which doesn't necessarily equate to survival, but something that will help these chickens start to take shape is to add their eyes. They're living things with little eyes, you know? So I'm gonna mix a little Payne's gray, a little brown, and some black. Now it's gonna just look black, but when you add colors to your black, it gives it just a richness that you don't always get with straight black. Add the eye. I probably will need an even smaller brush to get more details, but we're just gonna start by adding this where the eyes are to kind of center ourselves on their little heads. And just like that, it's starting to come together a little bit more, isn't it? They still look a little like dinosaurs, but at least they've got some faces. Now we're going to do their beaks. Their beaks are a little pink, so we're going to do some red, some white, then let's try it with the cadmium yellow. If that doesn't work, then we'll go for the yellow ochre. Add some more white to it. And I think it's all right. We'll try it. And the beauty of a painting is that you can always paint over it. All right, so yes, we're gonna go in with the beak. Now we do want to keep it, you know, impressionist style, but we can add these details. It's okay. Sometimes the details, even in rather loose paintings, are what ties it together. Makes me realize I just did her comb. I've got to do their little combs, which are hiding, but there. Now we're going to add, these two have more of a pink beak, so we're going to add a little more red to that mixture that we were just doing, and some white to get more of a pink going on. I do think I even need to go a little bit more pink, but start here. I was afraid of going too dark. I didn't listen to my gut. Sometimes just your instincts, even with painting, which doesn't necessarily equate to survival, but got their little beak. So I'm going to go back in on the sky. There's still some red spots peeking through, and the paint is streaky, but I like that for the vibe of this painting. Is a smidge too streaky, so we will, and I'll add some that is more mixed, and there you go. Smooth it out just a little bit. It's a balance. How streaky do you want to get with the painting? Now, something that we can do, and I won't be doing it in this video, but you can do it yourself after the class or while you're painting it. This is a gallery wrapped canvas. So the edges, you can continue the image down onto the side, or you can just paint this one straight color. So you can decide, or you can even leave it white, but I will probably finish off the edges in some way. I just haven't decided what I want to do. Now we're going to make our green again, and on some of these splotchy red spots back in here. Again, this green is phthalo blue and cadmium yellow. All right, I've switched to a little bit of a smaller brush to finish off the grass. Just adding some texture to it. Now, this is kind of a lighter green. I'll keep the lighter colors in the foreground and the darker and cooler colors in the background. See how it's darker in the back? Just kind of naturally makes your eye think that this is farther away than the foreground. Because that's just, it's kind of how it is in nature. And when you're trying to paint something and you don't want it to look flat, that's what you gotta do. I am gonna go in, shorten her little beak here. Like we said earlier, it's just a smidge too big. And I'm gonna shorten these little wispies a little bit too. I did add a touch of black here just to, these colors are darker because they had the red base color, but I didn't have it there obviously because I was painting over something that was lighter, so kind of fudging it a little bit. I'm not digging how I reshaped her head here, so there, fixed that. All right, and there we have it. Our own little abstract chicken painting. Thank you for joining me today for Painting 102, where we painted a pet portrait of 3 young chickens in acrylic paint. Today we learned how to prime and prepare a canvas for an acrylic painting, how to sketch out an acrylic painting, and how to complete an abstract impressionist acrylic painting step by step. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to see your projects. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I will see you next time. Bye!